Test. 1, 2. Is this thing on? You were listening to the Jerome Kern tune, Yesterdays, played by the Hank Jones Trio. Hank Jones piano, Dave Holland bass, Billy Higgins on the drums. Let's see, when was this recorded? 1989. So, fantastic. Probably going to get slammed for the copyright on this. Jerome Kern is long gone, to put it bluntly. Jerome Kern died in 1945, and well, among other things, he wrote this tune, but also the musical Showboat, and Old Man River, Make Believe, The Song Is You, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, Let's Begin, and a number of other classics from the American Songbook, Great American Songbook. But I thought Yesterdays was maybe an appropriate tune to start off this live stream. Been thinking about all this stuff. AMC, stock market, etc. Many yesterdays. So, as we get started here, I'm going to open up the Telegram link the Telegram, and get that going. And my cat is crazy. So let's get this set up here. Oh, okay. We should have it. We should have that link open. So I want to extend an invitation to you, everyone. anyone and everyone to join the Telegram finance chat. The link you'll see in AMC red on the bottom of the screen. That is the official AMC red. I did match the hexadecimal color code. So that is true. It's not true, actually, but it's close enough. So where to begin? Where to begin? Not even sure. I wanted to begin with a prayer. No, I'm just kidding. Let us pray. Actually, I think I put something in the description of this video that I wanted to look at, and I have to. I'm still getting my act together here. Yes, the Meet Kevin critical message to investors. Let's find that. Yeah, it's fantastic. So I did watch this a little bit ago, and it's not very long, and I'll speed it. No, I don't want to speed it up because I don't want to. I don't want to make it more obscure what he's trying to say. I don't want to obscure it even more. Because I reviewed Meet Kevin and Trey's diatribe on the macroeconomic conditions in the country the other day. And so this is kind of his follow-up, I guess, of sorts. So let me get that playing, and we'll go from there. Well, gotta unmute it.
Hey everyone, me Kevin here. We gotta talk about an incredible and scary shift that is taking place in the way the stock market functions. And it has to do with momentum. I learned my lesson today, and guess what you get on this channel for free? You get, when I make a mistake, you get it. Now that usually brings out the trolls, and then other people make videos about me and stuff like that. I don't really care. I'm going to tell you if things are going well. I'm going to tell you if things are going poorly. I'm just going to be transparent with you. So here's one of the things that I noticed last year, and I was worried about this trend. But clearly it didn't stop me from making a mistake today. The trend that happened last year was we started seeing momentum move. See, well, look, in 2020, everything was just going up, right? You could buy any stock and it went up. In 2021, traders became more discriminate. We would pick a stock as traders and hope for a rally. And those rallies, when they came, would last for at least a few weeks. Sometimes even longer, sometimes a month or two. Think about the GameStop movement. I mean, that was a 3-month-long upward trajectory going into the culmination of the January madness. AMC had a very long stretch. The early trading days of Workhorse or the momentum.
Sorry, I have to make this a little bit nicer here.
Movement stocks, no matter what it was. The valuations stayed up. The valuations held up, and they did well. Eventually, they, as most momentum stocks, did bleed out, though. That came over time. But what we've seen at the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022 is that these momentum cycles to the upside are lasting substantially less time. Sometimes as few or as little upward swings as a day. Towards the end of last year, then we started seeing half-a-day rallies in momentum movers. And today, we literally saw what momentum felt like for a quarter of the day. we had momentum that really began around 7:30, especially in a lot of small cap stocks. Generally, after a hedged event day, you see shorts cover or they rebuild new shorts. And unfortunately, I think that's what happened here. We saw prices go up and the rebuilding of selling pressures. This is what we've seen over the last 8 weeks, is convictionless rallies. Prices go up, and what happens? People put on new put positions or replace their short positions or sell because they can get out at a break even. This is very, very dangerous for both crypto and individual stocks going forward as a trader. Now, as a long-run investor, that can create opportunities. For example, Tesla after earnings, amazing earnings, phenomenal earnings. We actually had margin go up despite a disaster of a quarter.
You had margin go up. Oh my God.
Supply chain issues. Margin at Tesla increased. Absolutely incredible. What happened? The stock immediately tanked 5%. Now, the stock is...
Wop, 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 wop.
recovered, which is nice. And I bought a little bit of long-term hodl shares of Tesla. At the moment, I'm, after adjusting towards the end of the day, and I got to finalize these numbers, I am about 40% long and 0.01% short. I have a tiny little fraction of short left, and the rest is cash. So when I say long, it's important to know that long means this is the bullish direction, and short means you're taking a bearish position, not necessarily that I'm like long term on the particular positions that I have. I do want to be clear that I only closed options. I still have the small cap positions that I opened. Of course, pricing has rotated down. So this week, I'm down on trading, and it sucks. I was up.
This is where he starts to get into the critical message, I think, because I'm not really sure what he's trying to say here. Like what he has tried to say in the 4 minutes, roughly 4 minutes and 20 seconds that has led up to this point right now in the video. Now, another thing too, he lives in California. I happen to know from firsthand and other experience that you're not supposed to hold a phone when you're driving in California. I don't even think you're supposed to do that here in Ohio. I'm not sure if he's holding the camera. I'm not sure if he's using autopilot. I don't know what's going on here. I just know that there are two people in the back of this car. His eyes are not on the road most of the time because they are looking right at me. And it's just weird. Why do people, like, I feel like you are net, because, case in point, he started talking, he said, here's an example. Tesla. So he can't pay attention. He can't, devote enough attention in his mind to either thing, driving or trying to talk about the stock market. So why didn't you just wait until you got fucking home? Is it really that important to tell everybody about your portfolio, which is what we're going to listen to him do now? Yay. Yay.
Beginning of the week, because I closed out my QQQ put, I took $482,000 of profit on a QQQ put. I'm probably not down an additional, maybe I would say about $2 million for being out of the market. So net, when I look at it that way, so far my moves have put me, in my opinion, up about $2.5 million because I've avoided about $2 in additional losses staying in the market, and took about a $482,000 profit on a put contract on the QQQ from Friday to Monday. The problem is the trades that I took today were expensive. And so they have, unfortunately, and a brief crypto trade on Monday, those combined have wiped out my profits on my QQQ put. And again, I closed that. So I took that 482 and probably about $200,000 in the negative now on trades for the week, which sounds like a lot of money. It's 1% of the portfolio. And
so in other words, he's a rich asshole $200,000 is not a lot of money to him. Yeah, he said 482,000. He did say that. And he's just throwing these numbers out like, I took $482,000 in profit on that QQQ put. That's awesome. That's awesome, Kevin. You are really fucking relatable. You are the most relatable fucking guy. By the way, he absolutely should be a politician because he's so fucking relatable. I mean, what the hell? I don't get this. I don't get this guy. I just want to look at QQQ. I mean, I don't know when he closed out this. I mean, I would guess he closed it here in this area somewhere. If he did it today, but or he did it yesterday sometime because his market was up today from where it was before. Anyway, yeah, he said 480,000.
Had I stayed in the market, I would probably overall in the overall portfolio, I'd be more down on Tesla. I'd be more down on Enphase, Affirm, the larger position I had on Matter.
So right there, he's saying I'm only down, $200,000. That's not much. That's 1% of my portfolio. First of all, fuck you, okay? Fuck you, okay? Second of all, he's saying, and if I had stayed in the market, I would be down another $2.5 million. So I'm going to count that as profit, is what he's saying. I'm up $2.5 million because I got out of positions. I didn't lose it. Not losing is not profit, Kevin. You know that. What the fuck? It sounds like you're trying to rationalize shitty trading. Shitty trading. A rich guy with too much fucking money to throw around. Not enough attention to dedicate to driving or to making a video. So he does a mediocre job at both. That's what you end up with. This guy is going to be your next governor, Lynn. Aren't you excited? He's going to be your next governor.
I'd be way more down had I stayed in the market.
I mean, he should be. He's got the relatable.
He's got the chops.
He does have the chops. He does. I think he does. He does. He has the chops. I mean, just, work on a couple things. Get rid of that facial hair. That's one thing. You can't have that shit. You cannot have a big old fuzzy goatee. I don't know if he hasn't realized that yet, but it's probably why he didn't. It's probably why he got 1% of the 1/10 of 1% of the vote. I don't know. Anyway.
So again, net up because of my belief that this market is just going to kick the can of bad news down the road, quite frankly, for the rest of the year. Now, I expected that. And so folks are wondering, like, well, then why did you buy potential short squeeze stocks today when you basically properly forecast the Fed? That's what.
Here you go. Here he goes into his, like, I'm awesome routine.
People ask me, they're like, Kevin, you properly forecast what the Fed was going to do, and that is true, I nailed that, and what the Fed was going to say. But the second part of that is not actually true.
Uh-oh.
I made a mistake on what the Fed said.
Uh-oh.
I thought the Federal Reserve was going to tell us the inflation situation has not yet gotten better. I thought we were going to continue to the taper process. That happened. We were not going to raise rates. That happened. I was right, and I was right.
Good.
But my expectation was that the Fed was going to say inflation is still as bad as it was in December. A lot of the market was thinking the Federal Reserve was going to say things are better than December. But folks, this is where I got screwed. And I take responsibility for it. I'm not trying to point the finger.
He is holding the camera.
He was the catalyst.
He is holding a camera.
Jay Powell told us that if he had to revise his inflation expectations, they would actually be worse right now than December.
Well, guess what, Kevin? Not everybody is fucking rich like you. That is a terrible pause. Not everybody is a rich asshole whose 1% of his portfolio is $200,000. Okay, yes, inflation has gotten worse. It sucks out here for normal people who don't drive Teslas, who don't wear Hugo Boss jackets in California. Like, how out of touch could you be? How out of touch? I mean, it's like, what is the critical message here? I don't get it. The market, well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Got
almost to the critical message.
Then from December, even though Omicron cases are plummeting, the supply. Omicron cases
are not. Are they really plummeting? I'm gonna have to look that up. But I mean, it's like, okay, the case numbers go down. You expect it to immediately get better? Not really how it works.
Supply chain crises are getting worse. And so when we combine these two things, I need to be grateful in the decisions that I've made, in that the decisions that I've made over the last week have left me net up. I'm probably...
Equivocation!
I would have been down probably somewhere around if I stayed in the market, I would have probably been down $2 million more. Right now...
I don't trust that estimation at all. From this guy...
Washing out my trades, I'm down about $200,000. So I feel like I'm up, but still down. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure for those
clear as mud,
care,
Kevin.
It makes sense. The haters will clip whatever they want. It's fine. Hey, you know what?
We're not going to clip anything. We're going to watch the whole fucking video to the end. Just because you said that. We're not going to take anything out of context. We're going to give you the entire context.
Mayweather says, I don't care if you say good things or bad things about me as long as you're talking about me. That's working. All the haters are talking about me. So views are up. So I guess I got to look at the bright side of what's happening. But anyway, so that's just full disclosure. Again, I am hodling the shares that I bought this morning. Again, puts me about 40% along on the market, and I'm only short.
Me, my eye. The mark of a narcissist.
Lucid right now, and then the rest is cash.
Only about 3 minutes left.
I do think we are going to have a violent 2022, and we'll have opportunities throughout this year to buy the dip. I think the biggest lesson is twofold out of this video. Number one, do not plan on momentum. Bets on AMC, which I made a bet on AMC today, which was a mistake.
Here we go.
I made
Here's the relevance.
Option trades, which I always say this is stupid. The worst thing to do are short-term call options, expecting the market to go up on a catalyst event. Very, very, very dangerous.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's roulette, and I bet on black and I got red. So, they raked me for 200K today, net on the week, actually.
Said rake, by the way. Rake, not rape. I thought he said rape at first.
But anyway, so number one, be careful betting on momentum. Number two, patience. I think patience is critical
Are those his kids
in this market.
Back?
And it's hard.
They look like robots.
We're so used to buy the dip of 2020 and 2021 because we would just have to hodl for like 6 weeks and then things got better. But we're in a market right now where things are getting worse, not better. So, there you go. Now, I think just to end it, I don't know if it's not crystal clear, even though I've said this like a million times.
I've said this.
If you are not in margin, and I've never been margin called, if you're not in margin, don't go into margin.
I've never been margin called. Good. Good for you, Kevin.
You could buy the dip, not financial advice, for long portfolios that you're not planning on trading.
Don't fucking buy the dip.
And that you're not planning on trading. And if you are trading, take profits on options early and cut losses early.
That's goddamn general advice for trading options. Of course you want to do that. Come on.
Otherwise, you might end up getting reamed betting that that momentum's going to come bail you out. 2022 is not that year, and if I can learn that lesson early, that the 2022 momentum.
This guy's got a. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
Here is it's not here, then we can revise how we're trading, and we can revise how we're buying the dip. And again, the key there is profits early, losses early. If you're trading, don't bet on momentum, and patience. There are going to be more opportunities to buy the dip. Focus on reducing your expenses, increasing your income, and overall, by the end of 2022, hopefully we're back in this disinflationary environment that we've been used to over the past decades, since really the 80s, and markets can finally relax and focus on growth again. There you go. Those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. If any of this stresses you out, make sure to get life insurance in as little as 5 minutes by going to metkevin.com/life. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next one. Bye.
So, first of all, he has a $20 million portfolio. He said he lost $200,000, and that is 1% of his portfolio. So double check my math, but that would be $20 million, a $20 million portfolio. And he just figured out that you should you take option profits early and not wait for momentum to bail you out as time goes on. Okay. Doesn't he have an options course that he sells? Doesn't he have that? I mean, I don't understand financial course. So there's that, and then I don't even remember the second thing he said, but because this video was just so cluttered with statements about him, me, I did, my portfolio, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of that. And it just seemed like he needed to justify his actions and rant about the market and say how different it is. Like this this stuff never happened, where things, where things, where you have these days where you have like 10% or whatever, what is it, more than 10% rise and then fall, and that's 14%, and then and then erase all of that. Like, this happens all the time. It's not anything new. It's not new for 2022. It's just how it is when you lose money. I guess, I don't know. Like, now it is interesting how on AMC Monday and Wednesday are kind of like mirror images of each other. Like, Monday went down and then up, and then Wednesday today went up and then down, but pretty much the same, back to the same price level. And then yesterday was flat. But I mean, this kind of shit has happened. You go back through all the days. We're gonna go back through them one by one. No, I'm just kidding. But you could go back through all these days, all these weeks, and you can find similar types of things. So it's not new for 2022. It's just you're noticing it now, probably because Tesla lost money. This doesn't just keep going up, even though they had good news. Anyway, that's my rant. About me, Kevin, and his critical message to investors. Which, interestingly, half of that video was about trading. Wasn't even really about investing. It was about, he was talking about his short-term trading losses and how the market's different now. So, I don't know. But he managed somehow to get a more than 10% like ratio to views, likes to views. So, that's good, I guess, for him. But anyway, Lynn, good evening.
Hi,
Uh,
Scott.
is it
Good
is it
evening.
is it evening yet in California?
It is, and I've just been sitting here kind of trying to synthesize that video. And my one takeaway was that stocks are down, but views are up. And that
Yeah.
was like the longest 3 minutes of my life this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I watched it twice, so you know,
Ooh,
yeah.
you're a
But
good man. Take one for
I
the
had
team.
I had to. Um, I just had to check it out. Here's an interesting comment. This guy is an absolute disaster in the stock market. Let's be honest. 99% of viewers are tuning in only for the comedy value at this point.
Touche.
uh, yeah, I mean, he turned a he
Right
turned a
now,
$30 million
Robert,
portfolio into less than 20 million from July last year till now. Would have been better putting it off in an it would have been better off putting it all in an index fund.
yeah, and that's not really, I mean, the way that things are right now with the volatility, and a lot of people have lost a lot, maybe
Mm-hmm.
not as much as him, but but a lot. But it's that's not, I don't know, I full disclosure is great, but financial disclosure, personal financial disclosure on that level is kind of, it's a little much, I think. But I guess he's trying to make a point, which is that, stocks are down but views are up, and so that kind of
I
sums up the whole
guess.
AMC thing nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
With the influencers and the market, stocks are down but views are up. So
Mm-hmm. So just want to throw a quick shout out over to the Model 3 dude in the YouTube live chat. And Manuel Fernandez is over there as well. I have not seen the other guy, Great 199. Uh, I have not seen him yet at all. So, but anyway, those two guys are over in YouTube live chat. If you want to, Model 3 Dude and or Manual, come on over to Telegram and come in the voice chat here. Um, and shoot the shit with us if you want. If you want to, we'd like to have you, but not everybody's into that kind of thing, I guess. But we're not. I was about to say, we don't bite, but that may not be true. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
yeah, you guys should jump in here and help, because it's been a really strange week on my end. So so I'm not, don't have as much to say as usual. I'm just perplexed by everything right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. That's for sure. So here's you know I feel like I'm listening to a gambler justifying his loss. That's a good way to put it, by Anita L. in on Kevin's video. I wish she would come and watch some of these videos and talk to us about that, because that's a good way to put it. And so from that extreme to, I love your videos. Thanks for letting us get your honest opinions. I hope that you can teach us option trading. No, 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 you do not want to learn option trading from this guy. Jesus.
I don't know. Is that like things a bot would say for 500?
Yeah, I think so, Alex. I think so. I think that, yeah, that's a good way to put it. But, I mean, yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because what is it called when, I don't know if there's a term for this, but you know, I'm just like thinking about a world or a society where basically what we have now, where on the internet it's gotten to a point where you don't know, especially if you're in topics like this, stocks, finance, crypto, especially crypto probably, where you don't know if what is being said, you don't know who's saying it, you don't know if they're what their motives are, you don't know if they're an individual, you don't know if they're associated with a firm or an institution, you don't know if they're a shill, you don't know if what they're saying has any objective fact behind it, and it's just this cesspool of opinions. And some of them are valid, some of them are not valid, but just as varied as the opinions, there are varying degrees of opinions on those opinions. And I tend to, I try to, take in a well-rounded variety of stuff, but at the same time, it seems like more and more, it is just hard. Like, it's hard to know what's what anymore, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting older. Or maybe, fanaticism is getting stronger. Or Russia is, you know, exerting more influence. I don't know. But shit's weird out there.
Well,
Shit is
cognitive
weird.
dissonance seems to be the norm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And it's like but it's not about like, and maybe this is just a function of what we look at and the content that I consume. But maybe it probably happens on all kinds of other content as well. Like, this is not just somebody's opinion about a video game or something, or a stupid cat video. This is like stuff that causes people to lose money, like spend money and lose money and make bad decisions. And by that token, Kevin's whole video, he all but said, buy the dip. If you're a long-term investor, buy the dip. Not financial advice, but buy the dip. Not financial advice. And, you know, I guess, sure, fine, buy the dip. But it's funny how I think I have it up here actually. Yeah, I have
All dip buying comes with inherent risk.
yeah, exactly. Orders by Fidelity customers from today, and I posted it in Telegram chat the last couple days, and today is markedly less fanatic. Here, I'll share the screen in Telegram, and you can just looking at the red and green bars. Monday, the green bars were like 3/4 of the way over on pretty much everything. So the ratio is like 75-25 buys to sells on most of the big names, the top 20 names or so. And now it's about 55 to 60 buy to 40 to 45 sell. Even on something like AMC, it's barely over 2-to-1 buys to sells, and the numbers are probably about a third of what it was on Monday. So this is 4,600 buy orders. Monday it was over 10,000. I forget the exact number, but it was over 10,000. Model 3, is it that the less educated is getting bigger? What do you mean by getting bigger? Like more people are uneducated, or is it that the less educated are gaining more access or more confidence, or they've been, because of this democratization of finance, supposedly by payment for order flow, which is kind of a perversion of things of sorts, or that just there are more uneducated people participating. Like, because I think overall, I don't know. I mean, aren't there more people who are educated now? Or not? Or maybe they're educated technically, but they're not really educated. Or maybe it's just California's fault.
That's entirely possible.
I think that that's that's a likelihood. Um, but yeah, I think it probably is both too. Um, because I mean, you have people like me, essentially, who are people like me who are not experts, not an expert. Um, talking about sensitive topics. I mean, not as sensitive as talking about like mental health topics or something like that. Um, but highly technical stuff, and I'm trying to relate it, and I'm trying to make sense of this stuff, but I'm not trying to present myself as any type of expert, and I make that clear. Um, and it's coming from just an honest effort to to understand and willingness to listen to just about anything or anybody, as evidenced by all the AMC stuff. But I mean, I guess I'm educated. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree. I graduated from college. Um, I took Latin in high school. I mean, like I've tried to educate myself and expose myself to different, stuff, situations, people. Um, I've lost enough money. I've been arrested. Like I've got life experience as well. Um, and I think that, well, I'm also older than a lot of the people that have been pumping and dumping these stocks as well. Um, by almost 2 to 1 on some of these kids are in the early 20s, and I'm essentially twice that age, roughly. So um, I try to make sure. I try to see if, is my head in the sand, and you know I I don't want it to be. In fact, I did a video way back when, um, and it was about the ostrich effect, which is essentially what you're talking about, what Model 3 dude is mentioning. He said, not an expert, but your head is not in the sand. Thank you. Um, and Lynn, you know a lot of cool random stuff. Do you happen to know the origin of the ostrich effect? Like that, where did it come from? Like, I mean, as I know that's a random thing, but you know a lot of sayings. So, but
I think it's just a practical observation of ostrich behavior.
it is,
Um,
yeah, it is. But I mean, in terms of like
that's how they hide.
relating it to human behavior and stuff like that, because it's in the Bible actually. I don't know if that's where it came from. Probably not, because the Bible has stuff that comes from all different traditions in it, but it actually is in the Bible. And they knew, and they also, and this is interesting because the ostrich thinks that it can't be seen when it buries its head in the sand. It thinks that that is effective, right? And but it's not, of course. And in the Bible, at that when the Bible was written, they knew that ostriches thought that, and that it wasn't true, which I think is interesting. Like, because that's what I forget the exact quote. I did it in my first video way back when I talked about it. Um, because it, the ostrich is, analogous to the fool who is, trying to ignore whatever it is, they're trying to ignore. But
Yeah, just ignore it and it will go away.
yeah, exactly. And Manuel, looks like Manuel has a definition here. In behavioral finance, the ostrich effect is the attempt made by investors to avoid negative financial information. The name comes from the common legend that ostriches bury their heads in the sand. Correct. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm talking about here. And of course, it can be applied to anything beyond but behavioral finance.
I'm in full ostrich mode right now
Are
myself.
you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's understandable. You don't want the Kiev. No, not Kiev. Well, maybe Kiev. Yeah, you don't want the whatever mafia after you.
Not particularly, but it's just
Yeah,
people need to stop telling me things.
yeah, right. Well, that sounds like but these things, I mentioned this before, and I probably still want to do it, but all this whole phenomenon in the last couple year, year and a half, 2 years, well, 2 years now, I guess, but really the last year, and we're really coming up on 1 year because it was January 27th. That was the day last year. It's tomorrow. Will be 1 year from GameStop. Um, and so that's a year. But this whole thing, would be good. A good memoir, or good writing, good. Okay, I'm not looking for Tesla. I'm looking for GameStop. So what I'm saying is, like, these types of things, your type of situation, my type of situation, etc. You'll have an interesting perspective on that as time goes on. As we get further away from this time when it's all happening, and we're just so close to it that it can't really be. We can't really say something interesting about it yet. But when we as time goes on, we were close to it when it happened. So you'll be able to, we'll be able to talk about it in an interesting with an interesting perspective later. That's all I'm saying. And I'll be interested to hear it, and or write it. So there's January 27th. It's the first day when it blew up. And then the 28th was when it shot up to almost 500, I guess. But we're right around 1 year. We're literally right around 1 year, so. And yeah, Model 3 dude says it refers to those that want to avoid negative information. Yeah, that's the ostrich effect. So, yeah, I mean, that is common in a lot of things. It's common in our society. It's common, in our country. Nothing, there's nothing special with this. Any people who are into Tesla stock only, like, meet Kevin. He's a huge Tesla fan because he even said he bought some long-term shares to hodl today. We know. I figured he was going to say that. I figured he was going to say, I was right about Kevin. So what does that make me? A narcissist by proxy.
Not an ostrich? It makes you not an ostrich.
I guess not. But one of those comments hinted at this, but he's talking about all these individual stocks. And I would just like it for it to be on record that I said this, not because I want the credit for it, but just because it needs to be said. It should be said. That is why index funds like the S&P 500 or NASDAQ are good investment vehicles, because they are a whole collection of stocks. It's not just one. So if you put all your eggs into one basket, if one put all one's eggs into one's basket, if someone put all of one's eggs into one basket, like one stock, like Tesla, and all they had was 200,000, and they foolishly put it all in to one stock, then instead of being down 1% of your portfolio, you're down 100% of your portfolio, because most people don't have 20 million in their portfolio. So yeah, it's pretty much what anymore. I don't even mess with individual stocks unless there's something that stands out, something that, whatever, like special research, but I just trade the market, and it's been working. Okay, so Model 3 Dude says, many tubers have found secret sauce to keep their channels hyped up, so that many come in with negative information. The attacks begin on that person. Yep. I mean, let's see what Manuel put a link in here. Let's check this out. It's a YouTube link. We'll check it out. Phrase. Okay. Slow tonight. Oh, it's probably. Wow. Okay. Who's this dude?
I'm having the time of my life as I watch AMC
strongman
get
personal finance.
decimated. Yes, it's true. I'm laughing at all those losers that posted mean comments on my channel when I told them to max my tax advantage accounts, and my total will stop parking against funds. But they didn't listen. No, they bought AMC.
I don't know why people go on their channel with no shirt. But I mean, he's got good information. He's just a little obnoxious sometimes. I'm just going to be honest with you. He's got good information, strongman personal finance. He's got good information. But he's a little obnoxious. But he also has, he started his channel like after I started my first channel, like right around the same time, maybe a little after he did. He started his a little bit after.
Maybe Meet Kevin can buy him a shirt.
I mean, if it's a choice between Meet Kevin with the Hugo Boss jacket and this guy with no shirt, I'll take this guy with no shirt. I mean, that's just, but it's just
I'm with you. At least it's real.
Yeah, exactly. And he is a CPA. He's actually a CPA, so he has credentials. He's the proverbial educated person. Let's see what he has to say about trade.
AMC movement, that they're so amazing and they're so awesome, but in reality they sold you out. So here's Matt Kors, Super Chat Kors. Now he's got 366,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I think he's got a Rumble account too. But if you look at his most recent videos, I don't really see a lot about AMC. As a matter of fact,
I noticed this too. Actually, I didn't say anything about it. I haven't done a video about Matt Kors in a long time. Kind of because he's not really relevant anymore. I don't even know if he ever was, but yeah. But I did notice that he's talking about all kinds of weird cryptos, and so yeah, interesting.
I don't see anything about AMC. Okay, there's one video right here where he has AMC in the tag. It looks like he shifted to the typical grift. Ethereum, crypto, Bitcoin. All this loser did was he saw AMC was going up. And he's like, oh my, I can talk about AMC? I can talk about AMC? And he got famous. And he made all his money. He basically solidified his future by convincing you, poor people, middle class people, to put a vast majority of your savings into the stock.
That's 100% true. 100% true.
I like this guy. I like
him
this guy.
too. I like him too. I just like some of the silly stuff, just kind of have to just go past a little bit because like I said, his message is on point. And think about that. I'm gonna go back and play that again.
AMC was going up. And he's like, oh my, I can talk about AMC? I can talk about AMC? And he got famous. And he made all his money. He basically solidified his future by convincing you, poor people, middle class people, to put a vast majority of your savings into the stock. And even if he lost all his money in AMC, it doesn't matter because now he's got a massive YouTube channel and he can talk about whatever freaking garbage he's pumping on this channel. All right, so this is Matt Kors, complete scumbag. I think he made like $500,000 on the super chats. I don't know.
Yeah, he did. We talked about that on this channel months ago. That he tried to not because I uncovered it, not because whatever. Somebody told me, somebody told us to look into it, and we did. So, but to raise awareness, like, hey, this guy, if you really cared about this community, why would you take people's super chat money? Why would you take $500,000 from people answering quote unquote answering questions? I mean, I answer questions for free, although there was talk one point about super chat. I mean, when I actually had, was gaining subscribers, in the triple digits, because you have to have 1,000 before you can take super chats, which is kind of weird, dumb, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's unfortunate. More people, don't see this, but yeah, $500,000. It was like 460,000 last time I checked, I believe. Excuse me, I think it's Playboard. Here, just to see. And then, you have the inevitable people like, well, if people want to donate money to him, that's fine. He's running a business, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, it's not a very honest business. It's not a very honest business, in my opinion, but... And he's not that knowledgeable. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. But people think that he does, and he acts like he does. He has the confidence of an expert, but he's not an expert. Oh, yeah, I see it right there. $552,124 is his total revenue from super chats. Super chat revenue. So 97,000 super chats at an average of $6 per chat. $6 each. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's really no words for it, are there?
No. He has been losing subscribers, though. I mean, and not that that's much consolation, but, I believe that let's see. Oh, that's monthly gain subscribers. So he's gaining fewer subscribers. So he's gaining fewer people over time. But I think if we look here, it will show total subscribers. Total subscribers has pretty much flattened out, or well, yeah, I mean his peak was like 375,000, and now he's back down to 366. So he peaked, definitely peaked, at least for this short term, for this period. And his video views are flattening out, it's flattening out as well. So he's just not, but it doesn't matter, because it doesn't really matter, because he's already, like this guy said, he's already secured, his future. So it doesn't even matter. His channel could die. I mean, he probably, I mean, I would hope that he's done something to, like, something else, like, I don't, whether that's, set up some type of, I don't know, like get a financial advisor and manage your money smart. But anyway, let's see what he's got to say about Trey.
He's an officer in the military. And, I need to watch this video. He actually brought on Meat Breath Kevin. Wow. Good job. So here is Trace Trades, also grifting. Now, it looks like he's still talking about AMC. He's going to have to pivot like Matt Kors, because AMC is just done, son. I mean, I just don't see how it recovers. We're potentially entering into a bear market, potentially. I don't know. I can't predict the future. And if big stocks go down a lot, which they haven't yet, if big stocks get schwacked, then AMC and all these other crappy, unprofitable companies are going to get even more annihilated. I told you this day was going to come, okay? And this may just be the beginning. These stocks, you think you can buy the dip? They can keep dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping and dipping, because there's nothing holding them up. So here's this freaking loser still talking about AMC. I don't know what he's saying. I don't want to know what he's saying, but it's not cool. It's not funny. And of course he has Meat Breath Kevin on. Are we in a recession? No, a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth.
And if you remember, that is, again, I mean, that's exactly what I said. No, we're not in a recession. Here's the definition of a recession. You guys are over-dramatizing it like a couple idiots. Meat Breath Kevin.
We're not in a freaking recession, all right? I'm not an economist, and I know that. But whatever. Well, I'm sure Meat Breath's analysis is amazing. And then last but not least, the Ape Father. I have a little bit of sympathy for him, but I also think he's a massive scammer, okay? A lot of people know this, and I'm not really going to talk about him much anymore. He's kind of lame, to be honest. Like, he's just a sad, pitiful man that's lost almost everything on this stock. Here he is, trying to pump up his fans when Matt Kors just completely stabbed the movement in the back. Trace Trades, I don't know what he's freaking doing. And then you have the Ape Father. He's like probably the last holdout. And then whatever other drama's going on in the ape movement, okay? Here he is. AMC pump up time. AMC supporting a fellow ape. Ape Father in his happy place, stuffing his face, rubbing,
Jesus.
I don't know, French fries on his tits and then shoving it up his butt. Ape Father protesting. See, here's like another thing. He's protesting what exactly? He's protesting that a massively unprofitable dying theater company, their stock went down. What is there to protest? That's common sense. Common freaking sense. But of course, he's going to go there and protest and look like a complete freaking loser. But I don't know. Maybe he'll buy you a cheeseburger, so maybe you should go. But yeah, it's just freaking sad, okay? I mean, honestly, what it looks like to me, the short squeeze already happened, okay? We all hear about the Moass and the short squeeze any day now.
See, now, this is great because he's doing all my work for me right now. I don't, like, he's putting it he's summing it up better than I feel like I can sometimes. Because I tend to focus on details. Like, oh, I want to look at this detail and how it is false and why, how it contributes to this false narrative. But he's speaking in very broad terms, which is good. We need to hear another person talk about how, this is ridiculous at this point.
how I think if you look right here, look at the so we can see for like 4 years AMC was just in the gutter, $4, $5, whatever, and then ape movement, ape army, blah blah blah, and then it freaking skyrocketed to $59. This right here looks like the short squeeze. Okay, what's left is the inevitable dump of the pump and dump. Okay, this is the dump phase. This was the pump. All the grifters made money. I'm telling you, should have listened to me. And now we're in the dump phase, okay? But any day now, there's going to be a short squeeze. Stop listening to these freaking losers, please, okay? Now, if you were hoodwinked, I feel bad for you. Okay, I do feel bad for you. You need to consider what you did, consider who you listened to, and perhaps learn a lesson from this. If you're one of those nasty AMC ape, scum of the earth society, probably just got out of prison. Yeah, screw you. I'm happy you lost all your money. You're a freaking loser, okay? Anyway, that's it. That's enough AMC hate. I mean, it's almost like old news now. It's just kind of like, okay, a garbage stock crashed. Wow. What a freaking shock.
That's true.
Y'all. Have a wonderful night.
That's true. That's why it's like I could spend hours making a video, but I don't even know if it's necessary anymore as much, so I enjoy the live streams. But it would be nice to one of you guys in the chat over there get in here so Lynn doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. Nice.
Which I'm failing miserably at.
It's
tonight,
okay.
but,
I know you've got a lot going on over there, so no worries. No worries whatsoever.
But that man was on point. He was on point. And,
he was.
There's just one word that I have for what's happening now, and that is, well, 2 words. The first word is scam, and the second word is grift.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a scammy, grifty situation, and
right.
Yeah, we're just surrounded by people who are so willing to take advantage of everyone around them.
So I'm going to say this. So on both sides, on each side of that thing, you got the grifters, the scammers, the charlatans, the snake oil salesmen, the Trays, the Matt Kors, the the short the VIX, all those charlatans, frauds. I'm calling them all out right now, tonight, January 26th at 9:58 p.m. I'm calling all of you guys frauds. Okay? You're all frauds. And it's disgusting. It's despicable. It is dishonorable. You are lying to people. You are causing them to spend their money. I don't care if it's financial advice or not. You guys are in the wrong. You guys are wrong. You know you're wrong. You know it's wrong. You know that you're grifters. So on one side you have those guys, and they are guilty of fraud in my mind. Whether it's, in the eyes of the law or whatever, I don't know. I don't care. But they're fraudsters at this point. And then on the other side, you have unfortunate, you have a couple different classes of people, different groups of people. You have people who, are more passive, I guess, in this, that are just following what they're being told because they're not experienced. For lack of a better term, they're ignorant. I don't mean that in any type of negative way, just that they don't have a lot of knowledge about finance and stock market. They're new. They were new when they started, buying AMC, whatever. It was the only stock they had ever bought, that type of person. So the newbie. And then on the other side of that side, so the other group, is you have these hardcore apes, and that's what Strongman was talking about, like the really nasty, the ones that are on Reddit here, like this one right here. I like this. We won 3 ways today. Let me tell you why. Hi all. I've been on my different Discords all day explaining what happened today, and thought I'd dump a summary here. Yeah, dump, because it's a piece of shit. Like, take a dump. Take a dump here on Reddit. Let me dump this out. I assume most of you watched the ticker, the SEC announcement, and the subsequent fall. Here's how we won. The SEC voted in our favor for more transparency in who is lending shares to whom and when. This info was invisible before this, okay? Number 2, as we rose up in price to this news, we were met with a batch of 100,000 shorts against us every few minutes. Yet we rose, and kept rising until Jay Powell spooked the money babies. Okay, and then number 3, also as we rose, our stocks separated from their ETFs. The ETFs went flat, and we still drove upwards. This separation proves that our ETFs are highly shorted to hurt us. That proof is useful. It also showed we have the buy pressure we need to overcome larger market pressures. All we need now is the rule to come into effect and a little good news. So, like, this is pretty much delusional.
What does that mean? Our stocks separated from the ETFs?
I think
What
so.
does that mean?
So I had it over here. So let me get it back here. AMC. So then I was trying to look up the ETFs too. So like it, but I don't know if that's. I'm trying to find which
Are
ETFs
they saying
hold.
that,
So they're saying what he's saying is that
dump the stocks?
no. I think what he's saying. I think what they mean is that our stocks separated from the ETFs. The ETFs went flat, and we still drove upwards. So they're saying that the ETFs that have a lot of AMC in them, they went flat. So when AMC price was rising, the ETF went flat, went straight across, or sideways rather than up with it. So that's why I was trying to find. I don't even know anymore, like the ETFs that have AMC mostly in them. That's why I was trying to look up. But I know IWM is one of them, the Russell 2000. And so I was going to look at today with that. Oops. And I had it on here to compare. And, I mean, pretty much it looks like it follows it pretty damn close. Like, I mean, yeah, it's higher. I mean, it's a different scale. Like, it's a separate scale. It's got 2 scales on the here, so it evened it out. But let me change it to the same scale and see if it looks any different. So maybe that's what they mean right there. I don't know, but like, I always put it on a new scale. That way it has its own price scale, like that. So if you see that there, it's not exactly the same, but whenever you have a rise in one, it's pretty much accompanied, like, it goes with it pretty much. And then they both dump together at the end of the day. So what are they talking about? They both go down, they both dump at the end of the day the same exact way. I mean, yeah, okay, so the Russell index it recovered more in the pre-market than AMC did separately. But that's because it has multiple stocks. It's not just one stock. But otherwise, other than that, I mean, this shit went exactly the same. So I don't even think they're right about that. So does that make sense, Lynn? I don't think they'd mean that they didn't take AMC out of the ETFs. In other words, just that they didn't move as closely correlated in price as just the stock. But I disagree with that, with what they're saying.
Yeah,
So
I understand. I don't think it completely
it doesn't make
makes
sense.
sense.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
at all. And then this one here, 77 million shares to go up $2 and all the way back down and close the day down a few cents is a total shame. Fraud market. And I say to this, 77 million shares, was that the, I don't even know, was that the volume today? I'm not even sure. I'm going to have to look and see what the volume was, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like anything anymore. It's so dependent on confirmation bias. Like, oh, whatever the trading volume is, they'll mention it, and it somehow is a sign of manipulation. I mean, go give me a break. Give me a break. Like, everything is somehow a sign or symbol of manipulation. It's just absurd. It really is absurd. I mean, it was absurd before. It's absurd now. It's to a extreme degree now, in my opinion. Let's see here.
Well, what I got out of that was that it's every other stock that was in the fund is what made the fund
mhm.
go flat. So AMC
Right.
is
So
the
they're
only
not going to be
stock
exactly the same. They're not going to move exactly the
that
same,
no.
right? But,
Okay.
and then like the ETF can be shorted itself too. Like it can be sold short as well. And we can look at that on here. And by the way, the trading volume for AMC was 77 million shares total. So that's what they were talking about. They're just saying the trading volume. Russell had about 70 million shares traded, and short volume today was, let's see, 68%. So almost 70% of the Russell 2000s, the IWM trading volume, just of the ETF, not of the individual stocks in it, just of the actual ETF itself, was damn near 70%. So that's being shorted a lot. And that has the effect of dragging the price down in all of the stocks that are in there, in the ETF. But it's complicated how that works. I'm not, I know I've looked into it one time. It's complicated how that relationship works between the ETF and the underlying stocks that are in it. But the ape's point is just that, and I say the ETFs are highly shorted to hurt us. So, they're saying that even though there's 2,000 stocks in the Russell 2000, for example, they're shorting it to hurt AMC specifically because, confirmation bias, frequency illusion, all that type of stuff. Very, very, pathological, like narcissistic on many levels. But this person right here has been explaining what happened today as if they know, they have, they understand what happened today. How to say that you are a shill without saying that you're a shill? I don't know. Things a shill might say, things that Kiev Angelo might say for 69,000. I don't know, maybe.
How to manipulate information for dummies.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. Like those For Dummies books. Yes. I'm going to get these comments by Manuel Fernandez here. Love your reaction to Strongman video. Thanks. Thanks for putting it. Thanks for linking it. I have not seen a video from him. I haven't watched one of his videos in a long time, so it's good to see that. TMI, Model 3 Dude says TMI is only 12 years old. He's a 12-year-old Tiger Woods wannabe. He's even got the Nike endorsement, just like Tiger. Manuel says, does anyone think Lou versus Wall Street has any connection to Wall Street or Silicon Valley? I hear cop sirens every 5 minutes on his videos. Can't believe people take him seriously. I don't know if he has a connection to Wall Street. I honestly don't know. He has a criminal background, as many people have looked into, and I think that means nothing. I don't think it means anything. I mean, in other words, it doesn't make any difference either way. Wall Street is a very corrupt place, so if he were, it wouldn't be surprising. If he wasn't, and he's just an opportunist, just, kind of leeching off of the apes for whatever views, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. But I mean, I don't see that how it's how he has any information that's. Everybody always says, oh, everything Lou says has come true. AMC lab monkeys, what does that mean? AMC lab monkeys. And of course everybody's pumping this SEC transparency in dark pools, ATS rules. We talked about that in chat, and if it's the same one, they're talking about trading treasuries and bonds. Not it had those ATS rules have nothing to do with the equities market because they already apply. Regulation ATS is already in effect, and that regulates the ATS off exchange. Like, what is this person talking about? Oh man, it's just it's just complete. I don't even know. It's misinformation, but it's ignorant It's just taking everything at face value. It's reading headlines and just assuming that they apply to something. I'm gonna have to look into I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to watch this video. At least I'm gonna have to see what this person is saying, because if they're saying what I think they're saying, and that's the irony, is I'm reading it from his title. But I mean, the only ATS rules that I know about that came out were the ones that Lynn posted in finance chat earlier. And that applies to the markets that trade treasuries, treasury bonds, and other government securities. Those are very specific, it's a separate marketplace. So I'm going to look at that next here real quick, and then try to be done by 10:45 Eastern time. Manuel says, can you go over the comments on Adam Aaron's last tweet? Apes are starting to turn against him. Sure, I'll have to look at that real quick. Adam Aaron's last tweet. Yeah, since Lynn's here too, she's the CEO expert, or the corporate C-suite expert, or she's worked with a lot of CEOs, so she has an interesting perspective. Okay, so let's see, which one are we talking about, Manuel? Moonfall or the one about sports here? They didn't tweet this weekend. Sports fan that I am, I was watching what had to be the best 4 playoff games in one weekend in NFL history. 8 truly great teams. AMC is based in Kansas City. How about the Chiefs? Ball in their own 25 with 13 seconds left, down 3, impossible win. Let's see what these comments are. Okay, so that's the one he's referring to. I am not the only one who is happy with inactions. Oh boy. AMC, what is this guy tweeting now? Does he have any sense of urgency? His company and loyal investors have been attacked by bad market actors after selling majority of his holding. Is AA chilling now? What the fuck? Tweet to AA. Demand a reconciled share count now. I refuse to be a lifetime AMC supporter. After Moass, I will be out from AMC completely. I am pissed with AA's betrayal and poor treatment of loyal investors. So the irony there, I mean, I don't even think I need to point this out, but I mean, I will, because it's so ridiculous. So you're calling yourself loyal investors being attacked by bad market actors. Somehow this is happening for a year underneath the SEC's nose. They don't know about it. And they're not going to do anything about it. That's one thing. That's ridiculous. If shit was going on, don't you think that they would have at least looked into? I mean, Gary Gensler did look into it. So there's one thing. There's one thing right there. But number two, I now refuse to be a lifetime supporter of AMC. After Moass, I will be out from AMC completely. Well, of course you will. Why wouldn't you be? All you want is a short squeeze, which is bad for the company. It's not good for the company. Why would Adam Aaron want a short squeeze? Why would he want to play on your expectations for a short squeeze? It makes no sense. None whatsoever. And you're not a loyal investor if you're refusing to support a company because the CEO won't do everything that he can to bring about a short squeeze. That's not that's not valid market activity. So I think that, this is just wow. Thank you, Manuel, for sending suggesting this. This is interesting. So let's see, continuing on this thread. Hi, Johnny Cash Out. You nailed it right on the head when you said it has become cultish. Yeah, and honestly, it became cultish on the fringes a while ago. Reddit is pretty much now just the ultra concentrated fanatics. Like, it's scary. It's just delusional. And I actually have the ebook on my computer here, but I'm not going to bring it up now because then I'll get off on another tangent. But I have a book on dealing with people in cults. Like one of, I guess, the preeminent books I found. And it has very clear descriptions of major elements of cults. I mean, I should just bring it up. Because it is relevant. But it's actually scary how closely it matches to what is happening in AMC. And I think I am going to look for it. Excuse me. Let me see. Here we go. Yep. Here it is. So I always do this. I'm not going to do that. It takes too long. And okay, fine, I need to do it. Whatever. So it talks about the Moonies. I mean, it's a really good book. But I want to get to this part where it just talks about the kind of the elements of occult, basic root. Okay, understanding mind control. So it talks about the four components of mind control. Behavior control, so that's regulating an individual's physical reality, controlling and things like that. Thought control, emotional control, and information control. So right there you already have clear connections. And you think about what they want, what the apes leaders want people to do, behavior, what they want people to think, right? Like the new language and thoughts, keeping your mind centered. Emotions, they talk about regulating emotions all the time, minimizing, all that, although ironically they're running pretty much on emotions. And then information control. So denying people information to make sound judgments. Very, very classic, things. And then, but there's a cult psychology. So these are the elements here. The doctrine is reality. So I call it the narrative. Usually I call it the narrative, but that's the cult doctrine. That's the central beliefs. So then you have reality. It's black and white. So black and white thinking, good versus evil. The apes are good. The hedge funds are evil. Individual retail investors are good. Wall Street is bad, evil. So it's painting it in a very simple picture. It even says, talks about devils, but when we hear that type of rhetoric from Lou, the whole diamond hand things. This Johnny Cash Out says it's a cult, dogma, groupthink. Agreed, Manuel. The whole diamond hand things and being an ape was a pretty good scam. It almost challenges you to see how much punishment you can take. And yeah, you'll see. Yeah, it's very, very much true. Elitist mentality. Members are made to feel part of an elite core of mankind. I mean, think about that. The apes are going to change Wall Street. They are going to change the way it works. This feeling of being special, participating in the most important acts in human history. I mean, this is 100% ape stuff here. With a vanguard of committed believers is strong emotional glue to keep people sacrificing and working hard. As a community, they feel they've been chosen to lead mankind out of darkness into a new age of enlightenment. Boom. Boom. Special place in history. Recognized for their greatness. For generations to come. So, group will over individual will. You hold for me, I hold for you. That's what that means. So, it's not about any one person. We're all, going to win if we all stick together. And it's this identity, purpose as a member. And so, in other words, no individuality, obedience, strict obedience, modeling the leader. Leader in this case is not one cult leader. It's sort of an inverted cult where instead of having a single leader at the top, you have all of these multiple leaders kind of at the bottom. That's kind of the way I've been thinking about it. So happiness through good performance. Good performance would be buying AMC shares, going out with your AMC sign, whatever, painting it on your car with lipstick, whatever, Manipulation through fear and guilt. Living in a narrow corridor of fear, guilt, and shame. Emotional highs and lows. Of course, we have that, of course, price goes up, yada, yada, yada. Manipulation through fear and guilt. Yeah. Shaming sellers as paper hands. That's exactly right, Manuel. Exactly right. And it's fear. Each group has a devil lurking around the corner, waiting for its members to tempt and seduce, kill, or drive insane. The more vivid and tangible a devil the group can conjure up, the more intense is the cohesiveness it fosters. So, obviously, you don't even need to say this, but you have, major devil is Ken Griffin. And that's, straight from Lou. Straight from Lou. So, let me just get through
now
these.
They've drawn Adam Aaron into the mix as a devil.
Mm-hmm.
And he may usurp, Citadel's position on the devil, the devil pyramid.
Yeah.
And to just, if I can just say something really quick, I've said this many times in the past. The day that Adam Aaron opened door to the ape community the way that he did by trying to befriend them and have dialogue with them, I knew immediately that he would would live to regret it, and I'm sure right now he definitely does regret it, um, because his job is to keep the company on track and profitable. His
Right.
job is not to foment a short squeeze or a Moass or anything else. It's to make the board of directors happy and the investors happy, but he can't do that by manipulating anything about the business. And he's already, I think, come kind of close to the edge of things a CEO should never say.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I think that he didn't know who he was dealing with, and
Yeah.
had he never would have tried to make friends with the ape investors, because I knew that they were going to turn on him the thing, first time that things went south, and
Makes sense.
there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. That's a
And
great.
and
Yeah.
next thing you know, all those memes that had Ken's face on them are now going to have his face on them, because the core, the nasty contingent of that community are extremely nasty and vile and angry and emotionally immature and so many other things. But yeah, it's just, I think that Adam Aaron has probably learned a lesson that stings a bit at this point. And I'm sure many other CEOs are watching and thinking,
Ooh, that's a good point.
note to
Actually,
self,
yeah.
don't go there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point.
You see CEOs tweeting, but you don't see them typically engaging. They have a team of people, marketing people, PR people, social media managers, whatever, that engage for them. And their job is to keep everything neutral and to not, to comment without saying anything.
Yeah.
And he kind of crossed that line a little bit by trying to be part of the community. But the truth is, there is no community. It really is every ape for himself
Hmm.
at the end of the day. Uh, and because if that wasn't the fact, then who are these leaders? Where are they? Why don't they step forward? And why aren't people stepping up behind them and saying, yes, this is our chosen spokesperson or our chosen representative? No, there's just a few people who are kind of claiming that position, but that position doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, and the people
And
that they're elevating as the leaders are the people that Strongman talked about that sold out, that did this for their own
yes,
gain, which is exactly what the cult leaders are doing. What religious cult leaders and Scientology leaders and things like that are doing. That's exactly the same thing. They ultimately, at some point, they cut and run, just like Matt Kors did. He moved on, and formed his own little group now. His own whatever. He moved on from the ape narrative. Is what I'm saying. So, you know, and that also kind of, and it's like, it's one of the papers, the academic papers, and I'm going to get to your comment, Manuel, um, that I found when I was looking for those writings about the short squeeze, GameStop short squeeze, AMC phenomenon, whatever, meme stock revolution, yada, yada, yada. Talked about the self enhancing, I forget the terminology they use, self enhancing or not self fulfilling, but like the idea that, this thing, it's like if you go on Reddit, and you read some of those title posts, and then you look at the comments, and they're self-reinforcing. That's what it was, self-reinforcing fanaticism or energy, or not, whatever, the self-reinforcing aspect of this. And that's another thing that's like, because there is no leader. It's like you have all these people making all these claims and all this stuff, and 77 million shares just to move it a couple dollars. Well, that's the total trading volume. So you're saying that all of the trading volume was manipulation? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But, and then people down here are, and here we go with the OB on balance volume. Daily on balance volume was positive by 1.5 million shares. 2 days in a row, the prices dropped, the daily on balance volume in the green. Well, I mean, you don't understand on balance volume. first of all, but that's not telling you what you think it's telling you, but because nobody's taking it upon themselves to educate themselves or listen to other opinions or second guess themselves and really scrutinize their assumptions, it just gets reinforced. Now, every time somebody talks about unbalanced volume, it gets a lot of likes because, yeah, clearly it's manipulated. Clearly it is, because now it's part of the assumption. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And
Yeah, the language has been adopted now
it's been
into the
adopted. Exactly.
into,
Exactly.
into the narrative. And I'll tell you, the influencers right now, I think they all are chanting the same motto. Vini, Vidi, Vinci. Right? I came, I saw, I
Yeah.
conquered,
Mm-hmm.
and then I bailed.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. And that leads into this next thing, and it also addresses Manuel Fernandez's. How about the prophecy of that short squeeze? So yeah, that's exactly. So we talk about this, the elitist mentality that they've been chosen to lead investors out of age of darkness into a new age of enlightenment. They're going to be recognized for their greatness and for generations to come. And they are participating in one of the most important acts in human history. And that, obviously, in this analogy, is the Moass. So that's the prophecy. That's the end of the world. It's the, whatever, David Koresh's or whoever, Jim Jones or whoever, analogous, prophecy. So then this one says changes in time orientation. So they change a person's relation. The cults change a person's relationship to his past, present, and future. So the past is rewritten, and they look back on their life with a distorted memory. Cult members' sense of the present is manipulated. They feel a great sense of urgency about the task at hand. So that Adam Aaron tweet is perfectly exemplary of that. He's talking about football, and the people are like, well, but what about this? You don't have a sense of urgency? You're tweeting about football? Wow. And so many groups teach that the apocalypse is just around the corner. So the apocalypse here being the Moass, and the future is a time when you'll be rewarded because the change has finally come. So the Moass is finally here. You'll be rewarded. So in most groups, the leader claims to control or at least have unique knowledge of the future. This would be the AMC influencers who painted it as being right around the corner, painting visions of future heaven and hell to move members this way or that. So future heaven, you'll be rich, or hell, you will regret it for the rest of your life if you sell. So both sides. And the timetable for the Moass, which has moved around. So, and then it talks about how they change the date, shift the timetable, which you've seen a number of times here. So then after that changes, long-term members of the cult might become cynical, and they might leave, they might sell. But then by then there's a whole new set of people who've come in to it after, or and didn't really realize that this was already supposed to have happened, and now they're coming into it believing that it's going to be in the future, so it just keeps rolling over essentially. So the very interesting parallels. And then no way out. So last characteristic here, no way out. So there's never a legitimate reason for selling. If person X can hold and they're down $100,000, if they can hold and be okay, then you can hold and be okay. There's no legitimate way, no legitimate reason or way to leave. The only reason people leave are weakness, insanity, temptation, brainwashing, pride, all those things, like paper hands. You're paper hands. If you sell, you don't want to be a paper-handed bitch like Dave Portnoy. and
And also, there's nowhere to go.
nowhere to go. Yep. So, and the last sentence here I'll just read: they are locked in a psychological prison.
I think that it that ticks off just about every
I think
box
it
on that
does.
list, doesn't it? I don't even know if I can say that it's a scam anymore, because it's risen to a new level, and that is uh, cult mindset.
Yeah, it certainly is. And this book is called Combating Cult Mind Control. It was written in the I don't know late '80s, early '90s or something, but it holds up pretty well, and it's obviously it's the '88, originally written by Stephen Hassan. Is the name of is the book if anybody wants to look it up. So Johnny says your videos actually helped me out a lot, and I decided to cut my losses at 1950. Actually bought back at support at 1450, and resold today when I saw the double top at 1750. That's all I heard was don't be weak. Yeah, don't be weak. Be strong. AMC strong. I like it's AMC strong is like kind of like live strong, the Lance Armstrong saying, and then you know how that turned out. Lance Armstrong ended up being a disgrace, giving back his medals. Be cheated. So AMC strong may end up like that in spirit, because you cannot cheat yourself. You can't cheat your way to the top. Some people get lucky. A few people got a small handful of people got lucky and were smart enough to get out when they did. Not the least of which is, and this is GameStop, but Keith Gill, who, if you really want
But
to talk
the
about cult
crime,
leaders, you really want to talk about cult leaders, Keith Gill was the original cult leader for this. That what became the AMC Moass and GME, because GameStop people are almost, I mean, it's hard to say anymore who's more delusional, but because they've always been, after the GameStop saga of January of last year, they insist that the shorts have not covered, which makes no sense. You look at any chart and you can, they people are not holding a short position for a whole year. It makes no sense. It's delusional. But Keith Gill was the one who set up that whole thing. So he got the ball rolling, really. And then, like
and
like all
the
good,
crime here is that the people who got out told everybody else to stay in.
yeah, yeah, right. Like Matt Kors and Trey and whoever else who didn't specifically disclose that they got out. I just like I have no firsthand factual knowledge, but it sure seems like they are not practicing what they are preaching. Like we looked at Great 199 told me to look at Wrench Capital's video where he goes to Miami. He went to Miami Beach and is talking about, well, you should do something nice, and not everybody can go on a vacation a weekend away to Miami Beach. So just go out for coffee and remember that the money is real. And it's like so disconnected from what most people's experience is, because they're not they're down 75% on their positions because they've been listening to you guys.
Wow,
It's
what
so
a condescending bastard to say
disrespectful.
that
Yeah,
to people.
yeah, I know, it really is, really is. I think I did. Let me see here. I gotta find it. An image. Where is it? Wow, we have 2,300 photos in the Telegram chat that have been shared. Over 2,300 photos have been shared. Crazy. It's a lot. let me see, get this here. Screen. I just made this little stupid image. Oops, you didn't do it. I just wanted, I don't know, I couldn't do a video that night, so I just said, just go get yourself some coffee, apes. Here he is in his Miami, resort. And he's like, oh, the weather's so terrible today, so I'm going to sit here and make a video and through the whole, and he's got this stupid grin on his face, and he's talking all this nonsense, and then he looks, the whole time he's talking, he's like looking over to the right, like not looking at the camera, like clearly his body language is very telling and interesting. Like you can tell that he is conflicted in what he's saying, or he is not, convicted in it, or he's straight up, grifting, and he knows. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just very, very odd language. So, but just go get yourself some coffee, and you'll feel better about losing your life savings or your kid's college fund, or whatever, what have you. So, let's see. We have one of Kiev Angelo's bots in here. It looks like. Johnny says it will be. I'm sorry. He said it was a relief to finally get out, and I can imagine that it would have been, because when I'm trading, and even short-term trading, because I'm more of a short-term active trader, not really a long-term investor, but so for example, like yesterday in the 3 o'clock hour, I put on a couple positions, and then this morning, all morning up until market open, I was like thinking about it, and of course I'm at work, so I can't really, I can do it, but it's just it's more stressful because I'm working, and I usually take a break at 9:30, not for any specific reasons, not because the market opens at 9:30 or anything. it's just time for a break at 9:30, but because I start at 7. But anyway, if I can't get out of the position, like with the profit I want to get right at market open, which a lot of times I can, and then happened on one of them today. So I had one that I closed like right away, and then the other one was still open, and then it stayed open for pretty much the rest of the day. Even that level of holding for me, it induces a lot of stress, and like, I'm constantly thinking about it, and I don't want to lose too much money, and and this is just one position, so over a few hours. So I can only imagine what the relief. So then when I finally did close it, which I closed for a loss, I mean, that's fine. I'm still up on the day, not as much as Kevin was, but whether it's a loss or profit, it's always like, now I don't have to worry about it. Now I don't have to think about it. For better or worse, I'm out of it. I don't have to constantly have that in my mind. So for AMC, that's just, I feel it, and I was, I had AMC positions for quite a while as well. So I certainly understand it from that perspective too, but it's been a while. And then I started trading puts. So, and then I started losing money on puts. So, and I've lost money every possible way there is to lose money. Anymore, I mean, yeah, I don't really see myself playing around with AMC, to be honest, but I guess if it shot up high, if it somehow shot up to like $25, I'd probably buy puts at the top. try to, and make money from it coming down again. And that's a way that, you know, people could try to recoup some of their loss, but only if they are already experienced in, in trading options. I would not recommend AMC be anybody's first option trade. So I would make that clear. But if anyone who is familiar with options probably would already have that idea, so I'm not really saying anything there, I guess, except maybe enticing people who are not experienced with options to want to do it. But I would strongly caution that, because the AMC options game was one of the ways that the apes shot themselves in the foot, for sure. They just handed over so much money in options premium that it was just...
Yeah, and now they're mad at the company's CEO because they did
right.
that.
First they were mad at the market maker, which they still are, at one of the market makers, and their brokerages, and Gary Gensler, and everybody else, and Charles Gasparino, and whoever, and now finally Adam Aron. Let's see. Adam, I love you, CEO Adam. I think you're doing an amazing job, but for real, this fraud is torpedoing your company's share value. Can you possibly do something that will force some kind of remedy? This is way too far out of hand. Too far out of hand. It's way too far out of hand. It's absolutely ridiculous that AMC stock would be going down. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not the green unicorn that they think it is.
Nope.
Or red unicorn, I guess I should say. It is a red unicorn. It's not a green unicorn, not anymore.
So check out the cult language in this tweet. I'm seeing many new traders blaming you for the stock's current price. Just know that these newbies don't represent how we feel, and we aren't little crybabies. The battle-hardened 801s, so the apes who've been in AMC since 801, back in March or whenever that was, are just staying low and quiet, holding. We make our own decisions and know what's coming. So many things, so many characteristics there in that tweet. This knowledge, we know it's coming. We know that Jesus is coming again, and we will be ready when he does. Okay? So don't listen to these other guys over here. Don't listen to these guys. We just stay quiet confidence. So
yeah, that was directed at that wasn't directed at Adam Aron. That was directed at everybody else.
That was directed at everybody else. So then here's a reply. Really, I've been here since before the stock was on Reddit. Since August of 2020, have 27K invested. I'm bitching. Since before your 801 excuse. You know they can make it reach zero, right? They can route everything through the dark pool and get it delisted. So now you have, so this is interesting, infighting among the apes. So you have two people here who've been in the stock. See, this is the stress, this is the bullshit, if I may, that Johnny Cash Out now has removed himself from. So that this is the community that you were in, that I was in, that you and I were in, the plural you and I, so that we are no longer a part of. And wouldn't it be refreshing, to be able to see that and say, man, these guys are crazy. These guys, they can't even agree. They're on the same side, supposedly. These guys are on the same side, really. They're infighting, like, just, like religious sects, like the Kurds and the Sunnis and the Shiites, or whoever. I need AMC price to go up very soon. can CEO do something? Manuel's just being funny there in chat, but that's what it's like. I need it to go up very soon.
I thought that was a legitimate comment. I thought that was
I don't
actually a
think it
comment
is.
somebody had made. Well, no,
Yeah, I
but I
know.
mean, I've seen comments like that, so
He's got it. He's got it. He's got it right on the money there, though. That's what they say. That's what they say.
that's exactly it, and that is making Adam Aaron probably go home and drink a lot of scotch.
Right. Probably good, expensive scotch too.
Expensive scotch, but nonetheless.
Right. Mr. Aaron, are you
And I'm
aware
just
that
kidding.
retail
I
people?
don't know if he drinks.
I don't know
I
if he
don't know
drinks scotch either. Don't want to insinuate anything, but Mr. Aaron, are you aware? Mr. Aaron, are you aware that retail people all over the world have invested their hard-earned money and life savings in AMC stock, young and old alike, and are upset over the market corruption? Yet you are telling us about watching football. So, first of all, a lot of the money was
What else
not
can you
hard.
do?
Yeah, a lot of the money was not hard earned. Now, a lot of it was, plenty of it was, probably most of it, but a lot of it was not. It was stimulus, it was unemployment. That's why there was so much dumped into it that when it was. So, otherwise they would be dumping that much into it now, or they've already put their life savings into it. So, but a lot of these people are, just giving the market money back that the government gave them, first of all. Then, secondly, like, he's talking about, they're addressing Adam Aaron. They're upset over the market corruption. They're upset over the market corruption. Oh my. The market corruption. Well, that's the market. The market corruption. So, why are you bringing this up to the CEO as if he has any control, as if he can do anything? And market corruption, that's a broad stroke. I mean, the reality is, you want to get down to brass tacks here. What they are calling market corruption simply is the fact that institutions have more money. They move the market, not these, small potatoes retail investors, many of whom have sold. You want to say nobody's selling? Bullshit. I got somebody right here who says that he did, and he's happy that he did. So don't say that nobody's fucking selling. I did a short video, tried to make it a short. It was too long. I couldn't get it under a minute. But, nobody's selling. Yeah, right, okay. I sold. Johnny sold. A lot of people sold. And they're happier and better off for it. They escaped the cult. But, yeah. And probably would feel better about watching football. That's another thing about cults, depression, things like that. They make you not enjoy the things that you enjoyed before you were depressed or before you joined the cult. You lose all interest in your interests. You lose interest in your interests. Johnny says, got to run, but wanted to say thanks again. Your videos helped me snap out of it. I work too hard to give it away. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for the kind words.
Congratulations.
Glad you're here. And it's funny because people have come to me and almost secretly telling me that they had to sell, like they were ashamed. Yeah, I see that too. And it's become something way bigger and way more of a negative force than it should be. And nobody should be ashamed to do what they need to do to take care of their lives. Whether it's, certainly if they have needs that are not being met for themselves and their family, that's it's a given. But also, just if you want to, if you want to sell your whatever, AMC shares, your Apple share, whatever it is, You don't have to justify that to anybody. It's your money, your decision, your individual retail investors with your own portfolio that you alone have control over. So, to anybody who says anything about that, I'm saying shut the fuck up and leave people, quit judging people. Allow people to make their own decisions. It's not any of your business. Not any of your business. And, certainly those influencers who say that shit, the people on Reddit, idiots on Reddit will always be idiots on Reddit. But the influencers, it's time for them to change their tune. It really is. So, thanks again, Johnny. Appreciate it. And I'm glad that you found your way out of this cult. It's always good to hear that.
I see on some of the financial apps like say Webull and that level of chat platform. If somebody posts something negative or derogatory about AMC stock, or kind of takes a poke at the people that are still hanging on, a common response from the hardcore holdout apes is, why do you care what I do with my money? But if somebody decides that they need to sell, and jump off that train, boy, it doesn't go both ways, does it?
No, it does not. It certainly
If
doesn't.
I need to sell AMC stock, why do you apes care what I do with my money?
Right. Yeah, right. Well, if I can hold my AMC shares still, then why can't you? You certainly can. If I can do it, you can do it. Well, there are some things that applies to, but this is not one of them. Everyone has his own or her own financial situation that they are alone in control of, and they're responsible for. Even it goes beyond control. It's responsibility, and it's the notion that somebody would attempt to, make someone feel a certain way, psychologically manipulate them. It's disgusting, and I know that people are capable of doing that, but the degree to which that's happening makes me really, again, coming back to that idea about you don't know who anybody is, who is a paid shill, who is working for someone, or who themselves have a reason financially to want to manipulate you to make a certain decision, whatever that is. In this case, it would be to buy more AMC shares, help push the price up. And, that to me makes that, like I've never been somebody who listens to anybody else really, for better or worse. So questioning it was a kind of a no-brainer to me, because I question everything. If for no other reason to prove, just to add evidence, like it certainly is room for personal emotion and feeling. I'm not going to sit here and say you should have no emotion whatsoever in investing. It's highly technical. I don't know. The reality is, human beings are emotional, conscious beings, and we can't always separate those things. And I like Tesla because I like X, Y, and Z, and it might not be something you can put a objective fact onto. But that's done within reason. It's done with small positions. It's done, with a certain amount of risk that won't screw you up if it goes the wrong way. And you're willing to admit that you were wrong, and you are willing to close the trade at small loss or whatever, or less profit than you wanted or whatever. This is something different. This is not that.
Yes, and I think if you ask yourself, the people who are saying, I can hold, why can't you hold?
Mm-hmm.
Ape stronger together. Don't be paper hand,
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, if shit hits the fan for me, are those people going to come bail me out? Are they going to come help me?
Mm-hmm.
I think the answer is a resounding no, they're not.
No, yeah.
So you
It's
have no obligation to feel pressured or listen to them or be berated by them or manipulated by them.
right.
Just
Yeah.
tune
Yeah.
out the static. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it because they're not. At the end of the day, they're not on your side. They're on their side, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just a fact.
When Johnny brings up technicals or questions any of the DD they got from those influencers, they immediately get defensive. Yeah. And Lynn here has mentioned that before as well. That whenever you would, whenever anybody questions it, which I always question the notion that the DD is done. That was one of the first things that I talked about on this channel when I started it months back, the first time. Was that notion that the DD is done. The DD is done. Don't question it. They would literally say, don't question it. Just believe it. Well, you know what I'm going to say. That's cult. That's getting into the cult realm. But I would question it, and I got destroyed on Reddit. I mean, there's still an account that I don't look. I don't even go on an account. I don't want to look at my notifications because I know it's just full of a bunch of hate from apes. And that was basically when I started this channel. I just said, you know what? Fuck this account. Fuck these people. This is ridiculous. This is not how this works. It's totally wrong. And the fact that you can't even say that without getting, somebody defensive, blowing up in your face. It's crazy. People have been in it so long, they fall in love with it, and when I question anything, they get defensive. I just want to know why, and all I get is shut up and hold and buy more. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's not how that's going to make somebody, the kind of people, they think about it this way, the kind of people who would accept that answer, which we are obviously not. We will not accept that as an invalid answer. I'm not going to take that bullshit from anybody and just go and buy more shares. But the kind of people who would listen to that and just be like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, I'm an ape, yeah, I believe. Those kind of people, those are the ones who became increasingly more fanatical and are holding a worse loss right now. And that really, makes it clear in my mind, because that's not, first of all, that's not how I am. I'm not going to accept an answer like that. That's going to make me question it even more. When somebody says, don't worry about it, don't question it. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I had questions before. Now I have concerns. Okay? So that's one thing. But again, the kind of people who would be okay with that answer, those are the people that this channel, I guess is, if it was targeted to anybody, which is not, essentially targeted to calling out the information and the misinformers, the misinfluencers, like the misinformed investor, Tiger Woods, 12-year-old Tiger Woods. But also it is to highlight this stuff so that people can make more informed decisions. And like Johnny did. So Johnny called the synthetics shares Santa Claus shares. You just have to believe they are there. Oh, that's a good one, because where's the evidence? Any of the evidence for that is easily refuted and described by normal market conditions. The fact that you're trading more than the float over a whole year is not anywhere close to a justification. Besides, there's no way for there to be synthetic shares because there are no physical shares anyway. It's all electronic and it's controlled by the DTCC. So how can something be synthetic if it doesn't even exist in the first place, really? It's just they allow, certain, it's traded, but it's not real. It's not, there's no physical share like in a filing cabinet somewhere anymore. That stuff went away. So it's not like somebody could Xerox a car title, like Wes Christian like to say. Well, in Texas, it's be like taking a title to a car and Xeroxing it and selling it 10 times, but there's only one car. Now in Texas, we call that stealing. Okay? Well, there's nothing to Xerox, first of all. Second of all, in Texas, if you did that, you'd probably get shot. So, you call that a shooting. Probably call that a justified shooting. Castle defense. The only reason you know that they're there is because you're told that. It's like saying, well, yeah, Santa Claus is real. The Easter Bunny is real. Jesus is real. And he died for your sins. How do you know? Well, the Bible says. It's in the Bible. It's in the book. It's in the DD. Go look at, you didn't read the DD. You need to go read the DD. Here's the link. Go read it. Go to church. Read the Bible. It's all, just read it and believe what you read. What was that saying, Lynn? Believe half of what you said.
Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
There you go. And you're just hearing this, essentially. We're not seeing it. The other big thing was the naked shorts. And that's tied to synthetic shares because supposedly, it doesn't even make sense logically. So on the other side of every short sell is somebody buying the stock. So short selling is selling, but somebody is buying the stock. I guess it's like artificial dilution is the claim. Like there's billions of extra shares that are in the float. So that has the effect of diluting the share price, diluting the shares and dragging it down, I guess is the claim with the naked short synthetic thesis. But if you short sell a share, let's say the float's 10, there's only 10 shares in the float, and all 10 shares are held by investors, and somebody's going to short sell one of those shares. So they'll borrow it, and it comes out of somebody's account. And they're already holding it. They already have a long position, but their broker is going to lend it to somebody else to sell it again. So they sell it again. And so now you have somebody else buying that share. So on the other side of a short sell is somebody buying. So they're selling it to somebody. So then somebody's buying it. So now you have 11 people holding long shares. So that's not illegal. There's nothing wrong with that because at the end of the day, not the end of the day, but at some point, that short seller is going to have to buy back their share. The one that borrowed one share and sold it, they're going to have to buy one. So there's going to one of those 11 people that are holding shares are going to have to sell it, or they will. There's just you have to go with the analogy. There's more shares, so there's always going to be shares available. But so one of those 11 people is going to have to sell it back to the short seller, who will buy it back. So then they take that share and return it to the person that lent it into their account. So now again, you're back to having 10 people holding it. So temporarily, it can make the float appear larger, but that's how it works. But it is temporary, and everything works out in the end. Everything works out in the end. So, now, I will say this, though. There really isn't an end, because people are short selling and buying back, and short selling and buying back all the time. So there's no point. There will be no point where there's zero shorts. Not even in any stock. It's always a revolving type of thing. And that's another thing the apes never considered, and it's another thing that I tried to address before, is that it's like the apes are on one side of a rope of tug of war, and they're pulling, and that represents their buying pressure and trying to make the price go up. And on the other side is institutions that are shorting stock, and so they're pulling against each other. And the apes on one side, it's just this big, it's just like these, 4 million apes or whatever, and they're just all there. But on the other side, on the institutional, on the short side, you have like 100 institutions, and instead of all being always all pulling on the rope, they're like switching in and out. So one will come in and pull and put a lot of pressure, and then one will drop off the rope, and then they'll come back later, and it's this revolving like cast of like super strong players. And so which one is going to win? And my thesis was, well, the institutions will, because retail investors will get tired at some point, and they're all having to pull on the rope. None of them are able to, none of them are, they're just holding. They're buying and holding. That represents buying and holding. Staying on the rope is holding indefinitely. But short positions are shorter term profit instruments. So when you go on the rope, you're short selling, and then when the rope comes back to your side, then you get off the rope, and then with the rope, then the apes might pull the rope back in their direction. That represents the price going back up. And then another short seller will come on the rope, and guess what? It goes back down. So that's happening like in this constant flow. And I thought that was a pretty good analogy to describe the difference, because the apes, I think thought, whatever, that these shorts are holding on. There's no short and hold. That's another thing I said. There's no short and hold. It's not really how it works. And the notion that, you saw short covering today. I have no doubt. Oh, I didn't mean to close that. You have short covering today. So, let's see if I can, is it going to go to, I went back to Bitcoin. Okay. So, I think this will be the last thing that I look at here, because it's already 30 minutes past where I wanted to end, or 45 minutes or something. It's later than I wanted to be, but that's all right. It's been a good discussion. Went into cult, which I'm glad we did, because it's a relevant thing. It is a relevant thing. But there we see IWM. That looks pretty damn close to me. It's following the same curve. This is some justification for something. But anyway, I think that we might see, and this would be a couple days from now or something. We would have to look and see, because you can't really tell from this. You can't really tell from the data. You can't tell from this chart alone. But I think a lot of this this up volume is short covering. Now, again, I have no proof of that right now, but anytime I see this type of basically symmetrical type thing all the way up and then all the way back down, I think short covering is a valid option of what it could be. especially when, and sometimes you go in different time frames, you see it differently here. Um, Sometimes it looks really symmetrical. You get on a certain time frame. Just looking here, but I mean, even on the 15-minute, see a lot. It's very very similar up and down. So this would represent short covering on the left, on the uptrend, and then short selling again on the right. So you wouldn't see this on Ortex. You might see shares borrowed, but the shares could have been borrowed yesterday. So Ortex is not going to really tell you this kind of stuff. They'll give you a picture of it, but it's not really live. It's not really accurate. Lou, I popped up here 277 days ago to expose Wall Street. Now that the SEC has transparency, my channel is coming to an end soon. I will ride out AMC with the family, but my fight is officially over. What? Wow. That's Lou versus Wall Street said that, apparently. That's what he wanted. He wanted the SEC to say that they were going to talk about hedge fund transparency. Okay. That's pretty weak. I'm going to have to look that up. Anyway, Lynn, you got any final thoughts or comments or anything, or before
Oh
we wrap this
no,
up?
I'm just really today. I'm just really glad that I have a guitar.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm
good.
glad that
That's good.
people are getting out of positions that are not benefiting them. I'm happy
Yes.
to see that.
Yeah,
You know,
I
when
agree.
I see somebody say, "Yeah, I left before I lost any more money," good, good, good for you. I mean, it really, it makes me happy because people should not feel obligated to stay in a situation that is abusive. And it doesn't matter if it's a romantic relationship or a stock they bought or a car that's breaking down. If it's not benefiting you, cut it out of your life and move on.
Yeah,
Don't stick around because somebody told you that you must. Uh,
right.
it's
Yeah,
just, yeah, it's become such an illusion at this point. Don't fall for the bullshit anymore. Get out and benefit yourself. Don't worry about anybody else because they're not worrying about you. And that's so contrary to what I would normally say, which is that people need to come together and help each other and not
yeah,
argue. But today I'm saying don't stay in a situation because you feel obligated to be there, especially when you don't even know the people that
hmm
you feel the obligation to.
right.
I'm just really so fed up with the influencers who are continuing to try to drag people along. I guess it brings me full circle to just to what we started out with, which is
Yeah,
stocks are down but views are up,
right, right.
and
Which, yeah, which is, that's a good situation for them. You know,
it's a
um,
great situation for them. Yeah, absolutely,
and
but
it's
not so
like
much for the
it's
rest
very
of the
much is
people.
like a relationship, like with a significant other, an abusive relationship of that nature. Obviously, not physically abusive, but
No, but it's mentally and emotionally and financially abusive when people are telling you to stay in a situation
yeah,
that's obviously
right,
not working, hasn't worked for some time, and if you're waiting for I don't know, like the magic to happen, I think it already did.
right, yeah,
I like
exactly,
to say
yeah,
don't quit before the miracle, but like the miracle happened. So
and
yeah.
that can certainly lead to, um, at least in human relationships, it can lead to physical manifestations of that. Um, but I think we talked about this before, is how much domestic, just disharmony has been created by this thing, like the proverbial wife saying, "Why do you keep buying more of that stock? We need to, XYZ." Like I don't think that's a good use of our money, but you do. Like I'm certain that is becoming a problem for some people, or has already become a problem, and that very well could turn violent with a lot of these people. So
Yeah, don't screw up your relationships with your loved ones and your family and your friends, or don't screw up relationships
right.
for AMC stock. Don't do it because it's bullshit. Right?
Yep. It is. I mean, it's don't screw up a relationship over that, or don't, just like you wouldn't stay in a relationship that you're not happy in, or that's not serving you, and that where you can't be yourself, and where you feel like you have to be something you're not, and you're being told what to do.
Watch what you say.
Yeah, you have to watch what you say, and not express yourself, and or who's insisting that you spend your money a certain way like that. It's like finances and relationships can be challenging, but ultimately there has to be a basis of respect, mutual respect, an understanding, and this just ain't it. It's not.
Yeah, if it's dragging you down and it's not making your life better, then time to
right. Yep, exactly. But as Manuel says, and thank you guys for being over in the chat. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being there. He said, at least apes got transparency and hugs. Big win. So, referring to this Lou versus Wall Street tweet here. Lou versus Wall tweet. Yeah, I mean, this is now that the SEC has transparency. I mean, I'm not saying that they do or they don't, but it doesn't seem like anything really has changed here with that. But this is just typical misrepresentation of the facts and sewing together, some type of narrative. He's working into his narrative. He's getting sick of doing this, probably too. So, yeah, thanks for turning me on to that tweet. I mean, I think he's changed his channel 2 or 3 times, changed the name of his channel 2 or 3 times, and threatened to leave, and they all have. And they have all talked about, I'm stopping, I'm moving on from AMC, but then it was too early. Like, it was still very much alive in the minds of the apes, so they ended up coming back to it. But
Yep. There were still more super chats to be had.
More super chats to be had, and then at some point, yeah, I mean, some of them have moved on, some haven't. I think there's, when you consider Reddit and all this stuff on Reddit, it's there's still a lot of interest. It's not as much as it was, of course, but as long as people are still under the spell and believing and not looking at things objectively, I think it's still relevant to talk about this stuff, and the more Johnny Cash outs, so to speak, that we have in here, the better. And I think there's a lot of people out there who probably would see Johnny's comments and be jealous of that freedom, and that resolution, because they can't hold until zero. They can't do that. They're not going to do that. It's foolish. It's not. There's no reason to do that. It's not. People lose all their money all the time in the market. You're not special for doing it this time. So
That's a fact. And it doesn't make you a hero. It doesn't make you prove a point. It doesn't accomplish anything except wrecking you financially. So
right, and
don't do it.
it's like it's the financial equivalent, and because they're going to come on Reddit and post a picture, screenshot of their loss, and make a big deal out of it, and it's this big dramatic episode, and it's the equivalency of a temper tantrum by a toddler type of thing, when really the heroes of finance, the heroes of finance, are people that are able to accept reality and be objective. So the Johnny Cash outs, I say Johnny is a hero for coming, having the courage to challenge what he already thought, his assumptions, and look at things in a different way. Not even that he agreed with whatever we were saying, but just that, you have that courage to take that first step and breaking out of that. That's commendable, and I think that speaks volumes, probably more than I could at this point, just, being the, just being the presenter or whatever of information. It's these case studies, these personal experiences like yours that really demonstrate that facts matter, because you are able to see that. And, I can talk until I'm blue in the face about it because I already feel a certain way. It's like reverse biased almost. But I got to this point by trying to be objective and look to where the evidence is leading. Where does the evidence go? Science is evidence-based. Medicine is evidence-based. A lot of things are evidence-based, and if it involves numbers, it's like a general rule of thumb. If it involves numbers, the things are numbered for a reason, and you need to know what that means, and how things change over time, and what are what does it refer to. So we'll always be evidence-based, and if the evidence points to the fact that AMC is going to squeeze, then we'll say that. But it's not being bearish, it's not being bullish, it's not being bearish. It's just being truthful and honest. So with that, I want to thank everybody for jumping on a Wednesday live stream. And
Thanks as always for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome. You're always welcome. Always enjoy it. Always enjoy having your perspective. And I hope that things are, become more normal for you or whatever. But
For all of us. For
all of us, yeah, true, for all of us. And whatever, whatever we're all dealing with. So, it's my pleasure, Johnny. Thank you. And you have a good night as well. Catch you later, Manuel.
Yeah,
Always.
He's my hero today. Johnny
Yes,
Cash is my hero.
for sure. Manuel Fernandez, thank you, my friend. Always nice to see you here. Looking forward to catching up with all you guys next time. We'll probably do a live stream over the weekend sometime. Saturday, maybe. Saturday, probably. So we'll see you then. We'll see what happened in the market. the rest of the week, and go from there. So everybody have a good night. Lynn, take care. I will catch
Good
you
night,
in.
Scotty. Good night,
I will
everybody.
catch you in Telegram. Catch all of you guys in Telegram, live Telegram finance chat. The link to that is in the description. It's also in AMC Red at the bottom of the screen for anybody who needs to join. And yeah, have a good night.
Be good to each other.
Indeed. Good night, Lynn.
Good night, Scotty.
Good night, everybody.